My ex, who left me broke in divorce, begged, "Please let me move back in. I made a huge mistake." I responded, "Oh?" Then I handed her the contact info for a homeless shelter. Now she is threatening to take me to court. I, 38 male, am sitting here with a freaking printout in my hand, a printout from a homeless shelter, and my ex-wife, Amy, 35, is the reason it's in my hand. Buckle up, folks, this is a ride. So about 18 months ago, Amy decided our 10-year marriage was over. No discussion, no "I'm unhappy," just a lawyer's letter dropped on the kitchen counter while I was at work. Said she wanted out, wanted her half, and wanted it now. I was blindsided. We weren't rich but comfortable. I worked a steady job in logistics. She was a part-time yoga instructor. The main asset was the house, which my grandfather left me, but we'd renovated it together. Her lawyer, a shark named Mr. Vance, argued that her emotional labor in the marriage and her stifled career potential, her words, apparently, meant she deserved more than half. They went after my inheritance, claimed I hid assets, I didn't, and basically bled me dry. I had a decent lawyer, Ms. Albright, but she said fighting every outrageous claim would cost more than settling. Amy got the lion's share of our savings, a big chunk of the equity from the forced sale of my family home, and a significant lump sum alimony payment, which was intended to cover her needs for roughly 3 years while she supposedly re-established her career. I ended up in a small rental, barely making ends meet after she was done with me. My savings were wiped. Gone. Every spare cent I had, and some I scraped together through means I'd rather forget, went to Ms. Albright just to navigate the divorce mess and ensure I wasn't completely railroaded. It meant a lot of instant ramen and zero social life, but I kept my head above water, legally speaking. I was devastated, not just by the money, but by the betrayal. 10 years, and this is what I was to her? A piggy bank to smash? Fast forward to last week. It's been a tough year and a half. I've been working overtime, cut every possible expense, started a little side hustle doing freelance dispatch consulting, which was just beginning to show promise. Slowly, very slowly, clawing my way back. I'm not living large, but the panic attacks about bills have mostly stopped. Then a call. Unknown number. "Gary?" It was Amy. Voice all shaky. "Amy," I kept it flat. "Gary, I need to talk to you. It's important." "What's up? Can we meet, please?" I'm in a really bad place. My gut churned. Part of me, the stupid soft part, felt a flicker of something. Concern, pity. The other wiser part, the one that remembered eating ramen for weeks because she'd blown through her massive settlement and the lump sum alimony like it was pocket change, screamed red flag. "I'm busy, Amy. What is it?" I lost my apartment, Gary. My roommate, she just kicked me out, and the money, it's gone. I made some bad investments. That guy I was seeing after we split, turns out he wasn't who he said he was. Her voice cracked. He took everything I had left. Internally, I'm like, bad investments or bad choices in men, which seems to be a pattern. And what about that huge payout you got? But I just said, that's rough. Rough? Gary, I have nowhere to go. I'm literally staying on a friend's couch, and she says I have to be out by the weekend. Please, can I just stay with you for a little while, just until I get back on my feet? I made a huge mistake, Gary. Leaving you, it was the biggest mistake of my life. I see that now. I was quiet for a long moment. The sheer audacity, after how she raked me over the coals, left me with practically nothing while she walked away with a fortune meant to last her years. Now she made a mistake and expects me to fix it? "Oh," I said, finally. "Just that. Oh." Then I said, "Hold on a second, Amy." I put the phone down, walked over to my laptop, and did a quick search. Found the nearest homeless shelter, printed out their details, walked back, picked up the phone. "Gary, are you there? Please say something." "Yeah, I'm here. Listen, Amy, I can't help you with a place to stay, but I did look something up for you. I read out the name and address of the shelter and their contact number. They might be able to help you." Silence. Then a hiss. "A homeless shelter? You're sending me to a homeless shelter? After everything? You heartless bastard." "Amy," I said, my voice very calm. "You made your choices. You got your settlement, a very generous one, plus a substantial alimony payout. What you did with it and who you did it with, that's on you. My life, the one you almost destroyed, is finally getting back on track. I'm not derailing it again." "You owe me," she shrieked. "I gave you 10 years of my life. And you got paid handsomely for those 10 years, remember? Mr. Vance made sure of that, far more than I was left with. This isn't over, Gary. I'll take you to court. I'll sue you for emotional distress. For abandonment. Abandonment? I almost laughed. You're the one who served me with divorce papers, Amy. You're the one who left. And Ms. Albright, my lawyer, still got her on speed dial thanks to the financial foresight you forced on me. So you go right ahead and call Mr. Vance. I'm sure he'd be thrilled to take more of your non-existent money. Then I hung up. My hands were shaking a little, not gonna lie. A tiny part of me felt like a monster. But the bigger part? The part that remembered the sheer coldness in her eyes during the settlement talks as she took everything? That part felt justified. Now I'm just waiting for the fallout. Her sister, Angela, who always took Amy's side, has already blown up my phone with texts calling me every name under the sun. Apparently, I'm kicking Amy when she's down and acting like a sociopath. According to Angela, Amy is a victim of circumstance and I should show some damn compassion. Compassion? After they celebrated her freedom and big win when the divorce was final? Yeah, okay. I don't know what she'll do. Can she actually sue me? For what? Refusing to let my grifter ex-wife move back in after she blew through a massive divorce settlement and alimony package? It sounds insane, but with Amy and her enablers, who knows? I just know I'm not caving. Not this time. Update 1, 2 weeks later. Wow. Okay, so it escalated. Didn't think it could get much weirder, but Amy, with the full-throated support of her sister Angela and their enabling parents, has really gone for the gold in terms of entitlement and dirty tricks. So after the homeless shelter suggestion, which, B2, I stand by, the calls and texts from Angela became a daily barrage. Amy is on the verge of a breakdown. How can you be so cruel? Mom and Dad are disgusted with you. Standard stuff. I just started blocking their numbers. Easy peasy. Then came the official-looking letter. Not from a lawyer, mind you, but from Amy herself, CCing her parents and Angela. Typed, formatted, all fancy, like it's a legal document. It was a formal demand for restitution and temporary spousal habitation. I kid you not. She demanded I let her move into my spare room, lol, my apartment barely has a spare closet, and give her a stipend of $1,500 a month until she recovers financially from unforeseen setbacks. Unforeseen setbacks. That's rich, considering her setback was blowing through a sum of money that should have lasted her years, then getting scammed by a boyfriend. The justification? My moral obligation, due to our shared history, and my clearly superior financial position, which is only superior because I didn't squander everything, and I worked my ass off, and she took most of what I had. The sheer nerve asking for a stipend after receiving a massive alimony payout. There was also a veiled threat about releasing personal details about our marriage to my employer if I didn't comply. Basically, blackmail. My first instinct was to ignore it, but the blackmail threat? Nah, I called Miss Albright. Another bill I'd have to figure out how to cover with my slowly growing freelance income, but definitely cheaper than letting Amy back into my life or my finances. I forwarded her the demand letter. She had a good laugh, then got serious. Advised me to send a formal cease and desist via her office, specifically addressing the blackmail threat and making it clear any further harassment or attempts to contact my employer would result in legal action on my part. So, Miss Albright sends the C&D. Amy goes quiet for like 3 days. I actually thought maybe that's it. Oh, naive Gary. Next thing I know, I get a call from my landlord, Mr. Henderson. He's an older guy, pretty chill. Gary, got a weird call today. A woman said her name was Amy. Your ex? My stomach dropped. Yeah? What about her? Well, she was saying some pretty wild things. That you were subletting your apartment illegally, that you were running a business from here against the lease terms, that there were always strange people coming and going, making it sound like a damn trap house or something. Said she was concerned for the building's safety. I was floored. The illegal subletting was because I once had a buddy crash on my couch for a week when he was between places. The business is me, on my laptop, doing freelance dispatch work. Strange people, my pizza delivery guy? Mr. Henderson, I said, trying to keep my voice even. That's absolutely not true. We had a very acrimonious divorce where she received a very substantial settlement. She's now facing financial difficulties of her own making and is trying to cause problems for me because I wouldn't let her move in. Thankfully, Mr. Henderson knows me. I pay rent on time, I'm quiet, no issues. He said, figured as much, Gary. She sounded a bit unhinged. Don't worry about it from my end. Just thought you should know the lengths she's going to. That was a close call. If I'd had a different landlord, that could have been a real problem. The revenge part? It's not about some grand dramatic gesture. It's about letting Amy face the real-world consequences she desperately tried to avoid by crawling back to me and making sure her attempts to screw me over again backfire. After the landlord incident, Miss Albright said we had grounds for a harassment restraining order, especially with the prior blackmail attempt. We filed. Amy was served. The order states no contact, direct or indirect, and no coming within 100 yards of my home or workplace. The real kicker? The bad investments and the scammer boyfriend story Amy was peddling? I did a little digging. Nothing illegal, just social media snooping. Turns out her scammer boyfriend was just a guy she moved in with who got tired of her not paying her share of the bills and kicked her out. The bad investments? From what I can piece together from her old posts and some mutual acquaintances, who are now my acquaintances, she blew a ton of her settlement and the lump sum alimony on lavish trips, designer crap, and propping up her influencer lifestyle for this new guy. The money didn't get stolen. It got spent. By her. I had Miss Albright's paralegal do a quick asset search before the restraining order hearing, just in case Amy tried to claim indigence to fight it. Lo and behold, while most of the liquid cash was gone, she still had a fairly newish car, a fancy compact SUV, a Starglide X500 or something that she bought right after the divorce, paid in cash from the settlement. At the restraining order hearing, Amy showed up with Angela. No lawyer. Mr. Vance probably dropped her when the settlement money he could bill against ran out. She tried to play the victim, crying about being homeless and desperate. Miss Albright calmly presented the C&D letter, the statement from my landlord, and highlighted the pattern of harassment. When Amy started wailing about having nothing, Ms. Albright politely asked about the Starglide X500 and reminded the court about the very substantial lump sum alimony and settlement Amy had received, all of which was now apparently gone through her own volition. Amy's face went pale. That car, that's essential for me to find work. It's all I have left. The judge, a no-nonsense woman, looked at Amy. Ma'am, your financial situation, however regrettable and self-inflicted it may be given the significant sums you received, does not give you the right to harass or attempt to blackmail your ex-husband. An essential transportation doesn't usually mean a late-model SUV when you're claiming homelessness after squandering a fortune. Restraining order granted. For 2 years. The fallout from her family was immediate. Angela apparently tried to confront me outside the courthouse, from more than 100 yards away, thankfully, screaming that I was a monster and I'd ruined Amy's life. Whatever. The sweet, sweet revenge here isn't just the restraining order. It's the fact that her own actions, her entitlement, and her lies were all laid bare. She didn't get to just rewrite history and waltz back into my life when her new one blew up. She wanted to leave me broke? She got her wish, and then some for herself. She's now living the consequences she cooked up, and I'm finally, truly, moving on. My apartment is peaceful, work is good. That homeless shelter printout, I shredded it. Update 2. It's been about 8 months since Amy first called begging to move in, and 6 months since the restraining order. The silence has been golden mostly. But the universe, or maybe just Amy's brand of karma, had one last encore performance. Life for me has been on a steady upward trend. My freelance dispatch consulting really took off. I'm actually making decent money now. So much so that I quit my old logistics job a couple of months ago to focus on it full time. I actually moved into a slightly bigger, nicer apartment. Still a rental, but it's mine, and it's comfortable. No more ramen noodle nights unless I actually want them. Affording Ms. Albright when needed is no longer a source of panic. I even started dating someone new, a woman named Nicole, who is refreshingly drama-free and actually respects my boundaries. The restraining order did its job. No calls, no texts, no fake concerned citizen reports to my landlord. My new landlord is also aware of the situation, just in case. Angela and the parents also seem to have gotten the message. Then, about a month ago, I get a letter. This one is from a lawyer. A different one. A budget-looking firm I've never heard of. It's a notice of intent to sue for a portion of my new business earnings. I actually laughed out loud. The claim that the foundational skills and contacts I developed during our marriage are the sole reason for my current business success, and therefore Amy is entitled to a share of its profits as an ongoing marital asset that wasn't fully realized at the time of the divorce. They were demanding full financial disclosure of my new business, the sheer, unadulterated gall. My dispatch skills? I had those before I met Amy. The contacts? Made them through years of hard work and networking in my old job, long after she was a distant memory. Her main contribution to my career during the marriage was complaining I worked too much. I called Miss Albright, who, thanks to my now stable business income, I could retain without blinking. She was amused. "Gary, it's a garbage claim. Almost certainly. But we can't ignore it. We need to shut it down hard and fast." So Miss Albright drafted a blistering response, pointed out that the divorce settlement, including the lump sum alimony, was full and final. That my current business was established after the divorce was finalized, with capital I earned after the divorce. That the skills were premarital and developed independently. She also, and this was the genius part, included a copy of the restraining order and a polite inquiry as to whether Amy's new lawyer was aware that his client was legally prohibited from this kind of contact, even through counsel, if it was deemed a form of continued harassment. She also hinted that if this frivolous lawsuit proceeded, we'd be seeking to have Amy declared a vexatious litigant and have her pay all my legal fees. About a week later, Amy's new lawyer sent a curt letter withdrawing the claim. I bet he wasn't thrilled to learn about the restraining order and the potential for him to get sanctioned for filing a frivolous case on behalf of a client clearly trying to abuse the system. But the story doesn't quite end there. This is where the real, satisfying chef's kiss consequence landed. Remember that Starglide X500 SUV Amy had? The one she claimed was essential? Well, word got back to me through a mutual acquaintance. The circle is small, lol. That Amy had been racking up parking tickets like crazy. Apparently, without a steady income because, the massive settlement and alimony were gone, things like parking fees, insurance, and registration become optional in her mind. A few weeks ago, this acquaintance saw the Starglide X500 being towed. Booted, then towed. Apparently it was unregistered, uninsured, and had a mountain of unpaid tickets. So Amy, who left me almost broke while taking a fortune for herself, who tried to take my family home, who demanded more support after blowing through a settlement and alimony package designed to last years, who then tried to blackmail me, tried to get me evicted, tried to sue me for my new business earnings, is now, as far as I know, completely broke, carless, and still presumably couch surfing or relying on her equally delusional family. Angela, I heard, is getting pretty sick of the endless drama and the financial drain. There's no triumphant gloating from me. Okay, maybe a little smirk when I heard about the car. But mostly, it's a quiet satisfaction. She built her own prison of consequences, brick by entitled brick. I didn't have to become a fiction hero or plot some elaborate revenge. I just had to stand firm, live my life, and let her own actions catch up to her. The best revenge, it turns out, is moving on and building a better life while the person who tried to tear you down implodes due to their own choices. And they do. They always do. Nicole and I are planning a weekend getaway next month. Life is good. Amy, not my circus, not my monkeys anymore. And definitely not my problem.